I'm gonna get drunk on fruit salad.
I just said, yes, man, right away, anything.
Alrighty. You remember when I made the Apple Brandy? I'll put the link for it right up here in case you haven't seen it. I took 3 of the jars that I had and I aged them with some combinations of wood. And I also made some apple pie moonshine. Today is the day that we test all that and find out, is any of this stuff good? Okay, so first things first, whenever you're doing a spirit that you've never done before, it is a really solid idea to save a pure sample of it and put it in your distiller's library. So I'm gonna do myself a huge favor and take a smell and a taste of this and see what we got. It's already down to 42%, so we don't really need to worry about diluting it. And I still just get a very, very faint hint of apple, a little bit of caramel, and the taste is green apple, a little bit of sugar, not so much with the caramel. It's more of an aroma. Okay, so now that we've kind of set our palate, let me go ahead and hold these up. So this is French oak and cherry, and it's got a really nice color to it. That means nothing for the taste, but it's gorgeous. Charred white oak and birch, not nearly as dark. And then this one is mulberry and maple, a little bit lighter. Let's go ahead and try the mulberry and maple first. I'm definitely getting some kind of boost in the fruit character, and the wood is more like, I don't know, it's like I'm smelling dry, fresh sanded wood. Let's give it a taste. That's interesting. Okay, so this is the first time I've ever used the mulberry. It is different. I definitely get a fruit wood character to it. I like it. The maple is much more subtle in the background. It's not a forefront kind of wood at all. I'm getting a wood tannin astringency on the back of the tongue, but there's definitely a fruity, candy-like character that's really kind of popping from the mulberry. We're gonna try the charred white oak and birch now. Ooh, big sugar. Bet that's from the birch. Kind of a brown sugar and something else, something a lot darker in there. Tobacco. What I mean is like Grandpa's pipe tobacco before he lights it. So that kind of wet, sticky, fresh tobacco as it's packed into the pipe. That's what I'm getting. Yeah, big time. Big time. The fruit character is almost, I don't get any apple in there at all, but I do get a little bit of a dark fruit. That one's like a trip down memory lane right there. It reminds me of Granddad. These are turning out better than I expected. I was a little concerned because, see how there's 2 pieces of wood in there and they're both roughly 3 inches long? Normally, you take that equivalent amount of wood, about a 6-inch long piece by a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch. You use one of those 6-inch pieces for a 750 ml bottle, a normal size bottle of liquor. I put too much wood in these. Not on purpose, but because I wasn't paying attention. I'm pleasantly surprised that these are not over flavored with the wood, but I think it's probably smart if I take it out now. Now, let's try the French oak and cherry. Ooh, all right, that's nice. So the previous one had like big brown sugar. This one is much more vanilla and fruit forward. And the fruit, I know it's got cherry wood in there, but it is a little cherry. Wow. We got raw tobacco on the other one. This one I'm getting sweet leather. I know that doesn't make any sense, but I'm getting some leather, some vanilla, some of the wood tannin, and some fruit. That is interesting. I'm not sure which one of these I like better. They're also distinctly different. Yeah, these are their own spirit. This is hard. This is the hard part. Aging and blending are the hardest parts for me. It's all subjective. I like the pipe tobacco one with the... Okay, see, this is weird. Now these jars have been open for a few minutes, and I get apple. Red apple, not green. And let's try this one. It's in between. It's like one of those Fuji apples or something. This one is much harder to judge. I think the apple is more muted in this. Let's try a sniff of this one. Yeah, I get more caramel apple from this, honestly, when I smell it. You see what I mean? This is frustrating. because in the glass I'm not picking up any apple. But on the top of the jar, those volatile compounds will sit and start to off-gas just a little bit. And the highly aromatic things are the things that off-gas first. Each one of these has something very significant and noteworthy about it. I would almost be afraid of diminishing what they are. I didn't get into this hobby so I could play it safe. We're just gonna go with an even mix of everything. And I'm gonna throw in just a couple drops of water to open it up a little bit. I almost feel like I'm missing out on the apple. I was getting too close to the glass. Now that I'm picking up the apple, it's more red apple, candy sugar, some of that tobacco, some of the dark fruits. That's really good. That's really good. Oh, there's a mulberry. So what this is telling me is that I need to stop being a baby when it comes to blending and just start trying things and see what works. I'm sure if I play around with this for another half an hour, I'll, one, get slightly intoxicated. Two, I will come up with a blend of ratios of what I want, what works the best. The takeaway is, age your brandy. It's gonna come out way better than it did going into the jar. And try a variety of woods because you're going to end up with something really cool. Don't just stick with oak. Oak is fantastic. Everybody uses it and it comes out great. But there's so many other flavors that you're not seeing. So yeah, get a variety of woods. And if you want to use the same kit that I did, you can talk to Ken over at Barrel Charwood. He's down in the video description. We have one more thing to test though, right? The apple pie. Now you'll notice there's no cinnamon stick in there. I took the cinnamon stick out about 2 weeks ago because I had a little taste of this. And the cinnamon actually went a little bitter. So keep that in mind. What you may want to do is put your cinnamon in, let it sit for, maybe a month or so, and then yank it out. First things first. Ooh, those are strong. That's a spicy apple. I'm not gonna bother putting this into a glass to taste it. That's not how you drink apple pie. So my recommendation for this stuff, when I made this recipe and I made it with the 42% brandy, at the moment that I made it, that day, it was perfect. But as it sat, it's gotten a little syrupy. And I don't know if that's just because it pulled more juice and sugars out of the apples that I sliced in here, or if that's just a process of the aging. I don't know. But what I would recommend is go for a higher ABV on your apple pie moonshine. We'll come up with a new recipe here, at some point in the future. I'm definitely gonna make apple brandy again because this isn't cutting it for me. I'm gonna take all of your suggestions that you guys left in the comments of the previous apple brandy video and run with those, and we're gonna make something that is off the charts flavorful. Look for that coming up at some point. Probably this year. This is the kind of stuff that it's unfortunate we're in a global pandemic because you would want to pass it around a fire. So here's my advice. Make enough so that everybody has their own jar. If anybody has a recipe for an apple cake that I can make with these liquor infused apples, let me know down in the comments section because so alcoholic. Wanted to let you guys know that I am doing collaboration videos with a couple of other channels. The first channel is the City Steading, or now CS Mead and More channel. It's going to take a little while for that one to come out, a couple of months, because mead is not a quick process. I'm really excited. I got to do a Zoom chat with Brian and Derica, and they are fantastic people. They are definitely my kind of nerds. The other channel that I'm doing a collaboration with is a guy over in South Africa. He goes by Beaver DIY. I'm going to put his link down in the video description as well. He's been distilling in South Africa for, a number of years, but his channel is only about 6 months old, but he's got a lot of content already. He used his lockdown very well and was very productive at doing all kinds of different videos. He's got a video on how to make your own sight glass. I think that is just super cool. So check out his videos, check out CS Mead and More. I'll put links for both of them down in the video description. I'm positive you're gonna find something that you'll like. So I wanna thank my Patreon supporters because you guys were literally the inspiration for me doing the apple pie, and you're the only reason why I get to keep doing this stuff every week and playing around with the best hobby in the entire world. So thank you so much, guys, for your support. And if you are caught up on my posts over on Patreon, let me just give you a little spoiler. It fermented all the way out. Next week is going to be really cool. If you don't know what I'm talking about, but you'd like to get some of this behind the scenes content and have some input on what I'm going to post on YouTube before it ever comes out, head on over to my Patreon page. I'll put the link down in the video description. And if it looks like it's something for you, then you can support the channel. All right, so that is all for now. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button if you want to find out what I'm getting up to, and hit the little bell icon so you get notified when I post those videos. If you enjoyed watching me get slightly intoxicated, do me a favor and hit the like button, because it really helps out the channel, tells YouTube that you value this kind of content. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. Thanks for watching. Talk at you later. Isn't that a wonderful thing that this is the most challenging part of the hobby? The best hobby in the world. Which one of you am I going to drink first?